Gibson's flirting with an old flame. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's always fun to hypothesize what new models might be coming and what artist Gibson's going to work with next. We know they love covering the classic era rock heroes, and they've been dabbling into the 90s and 2000s lately, but the person we're going to be talking about today is Neal Schon of Journey fame. Neal is a fantastic guitar player with fans all over the world. Now, Gibson and Neal actually worked together in the mid-2000s, however, they had a falling out because Gibson continued to use some unique specs off of his guitar. So this is one of the finishes that they offered, ebony. You'll notice that your control knobs are like in a vastly different position than normal. You've got a Sustainiac pickup in the neck, you've got a Floyd Rose, 2 switches there for your special electronics. The guitar lacked fret nibs, it had very unique inlays, very similar to what you'd find on the Gibson US1, but a little bit more spaced apart with a block in between, and a one-off peghead veneer. Kinda reminds you of the Les Paul Custom 1, but it's different, it's new. However, this was the big thing. The clunky heel design of the Les Paul was shaven down. However, for 2008, Gibson came out with the Axcess series that utilized a similar but not exactly the same cut. So basically, he took his late 70s Les Paul Deluxe Pro that he routed out for humbuckers and a Floyd Rose and did similar modifications, which we talked about here when it came up for sale, and they made a new custom version of that. Them parting ways was kind of a big deal, and that's made the original Neal Schons just shoot up in value. But on Facebook one day, I just happened to catch one of Neal's shorts of him playing a guitar, and it stood out to me. This is the new Gibson Les Paul Supreme. The fact that he's playing a brand new Gibson means he and them might actually be working together. And so far, Cesar and the new Gibson team have been being really good about patching old relationships that ended badly. But we saw not only this tritone sunburst, but the Gibson.com exclusive triple ebony. So we know he's not just buying it from a dealer who's like giving him a great price or something. That one had to have come from Gibson. So I wanted to dig a little bit more into this. And I was actually able to find a caption in one of these videos that says, "You'll be seeing a lot of these in the near future. I'm now working with them, and it's actually really amazing the team that they have together now under Cesar." So that confirms it for me. Will we see the reissue of the Neal Schon signature? It might be a few years in the making, but this next post is what actually sparked the full episode. Coming this week, something new we are trying to stabilize tuning, tagging Jim DeCola and Gibson CEO. And here are those photos. So first off, we've got a wine red top. It's Nashville style bridge that tells us probably Gibson USA production since we have the Allen key adjustments. However, we've got this weird thing. Have you ever seen that? That's called a Gibson TP6 tailpiece, first developed by Rendell Wall in the late 70s. You see it on like the Gibson Lucille yet today. However, they've been in production, typically as aftermarket units that you can put on any guitar for quite some time now. Then our next photo shows another Les Paul Supreme, but a lock nut system? Why do you need a locking nut if you don't have a Floyd Rose or something? It's rather unconventional to do that. I mean, I've seen it off and on, but stock on a Gibson, no, never heard of that. They had to slice their truss rod cover and everything to put it on there. So I suppose in theory, he's trying to reduce the whole not straight string pull thing. Now, there's a lot of people in the comments that are saying, just get the nut cut properly and you won't have to worry about stuff like that. But he wants live tuning stability, and Neal's really good at guitar. And he's used to Floyd Roses on his other stuff, and if you've got a professional tech to keep those things perfectly set up, yeah, I bet they are fantastic. And the TP6 will allow for fine adjustments if you need it. So I'm curious, is this going to be the new signature? There's going to be like a custom exclusive color of the Les Paul Modern Supreme that has Neal's name on it, give it a new color. It's got the lock nut with the TP6 tailpiece. That's why he's looking at all the different finishes on these. And maybe he'll change some other specs, like throw the Sustainiac pickup in it, or maybe he's moved on from that. But something I did find incredibly strange here. Now granted, I haven't really followed Neal personally to know all the stories of all of his guitars, but you can see him playing one right here on his page as well. Looks like Neal Schon specs, but if you remember, we don't have the funky inlays. This is just a regular Les Paul Customs neck. It's got the Floyd Rose, but it still has his sustainer pickup. It's got his switches, but our control knob layout is regular on that one. So that had to have been made for him. I'm curious how long ago? Because maybe we will see it get reissued with slightly more regular specs. It could be like a dual project that they're working on, or they just want a big name using their new product. But doing some additional snooping here, there's some interesting ones in his collection. Like, check out this. He's got one of the old Les Paul Florentines. I would love to say it's one of the original 90s ones, but I don't know about this one. I suppose it could be more modern, but that is a gorgeous Florentine. So those are basically chambered out Les Pauls that have the F-holes. Will his modern Supremes be chambered with the F-hole? Or maybe they'll be offered in natural. But this one was really excited to see. I can 100% say without a doubt that this is an original late 90s Les Paul Florentine because P90 pickups. It was a very shortly offered option, and it's got that nice, really dark tobacco sunburst vibe. It's such a classic look. So maybe we'll see a P90 incorporated into his new design. He sounds pretty good with them right here. I also saw him playing a natural ES355. I don't normally associate him with that. When I think Neal Schon, I think the original Super Custom. You know, the Any Way You Want It music video guitar and all the lore. I mean, that's why his name is engraved into my mind because of all the history and research I've done on those things. I just love the original Super Customs. Cool little limited edition things that became a huge deal. But to wrap up the guitars that he likes to play, I was kind of surprised to see this. To me, it kind of looks like one of those 2018 Les Paul classics, but if you take a look right here, it's actually a rat tail. So that had to have been a custom order for him as a 54 reissue in a custom color. But this would get you pretty close for a little bit less money. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Are you excited for a potential new Neal Schon signature? I'm just glad the axe is being buried because it always felt there was a lot of bad blood here. So now if we can just fix Kelleher and Hetfield and a few others, it could be a lot of fun. And if you think about it, the new Supremes are just right up this guy's alley because he's used to the Super 400s from his Super Customs. It has kind of a shaven down heel, so it seems like a pretty natural collaboration here. But now some more news on the CEO's page. He says it's a Supreme Friday at Gibson. Well, those look like the SG Supremes that we know are coming. So that makes me think we might see those either this Tuesday or maybe the next Tuesday. So if anybody's interested in doing a new guitar day and you want yours to be reviewed, feel free to reach out. I'm not really sure the exact colors or the price, but I'm sure they'll be somewhere around the Les Paul's tag. But they're looking pretty nice. Long neck tenons, super flamey tops. Nearly looks thicker than usual. And oh, hey, there's our buddy Neal. Maybe he wants one of those too. And then one last little bit of trivia for us tonight. On Gibson Guitar's Instagram page, they posted this. It says, "Are you ready? Sign up for our newsletter to be the first to hear about new products from Gibson. Link in our bio." And when this is airing, the first two amplifiers are here. So it's the Gibson Falcon series that they're bringing out first. So we've got the Falcon 5 for $14.99 and the Falcon 20, which is the 20-watt version, which seems like an incredible deal in comparison. Only $300 more, you get 15 more watts. I mean, you just gotta understand, I mean, what do you actually need? I am not an amp guy in the slightest, but what I read here is you can run it at different stages. So you can run it as a 1 watt, you can have it as a 5 watt or a 12. It almost just makes it seem like, why would you even want the Falcon 5? Outside of just needing a smaller amplifier. And you can check out the demos online. Honestly, I'm not the best guy for that job to demonstrate an amp. So until they reissue one that like really captures my heart, because I'm sure this is not the only two that they're going to do. They didn't buy Mesa Boogie just to make two. They're kind of testing the market, see where their pricing's falling and how people like them. But if they bring back the full stack Gibson Super Gold Tones, yeah, those cabinets are just so cool. And then to wrap up our discussion tonight, Gibson shocks the world and is now selling collector's edition pickups. Lots of hate for these things online. I can see it from the mindset of somebody who doesn't have the Gibson bug in them and be like, $1,000 for some pickups? What are they thinking? I can go to DiMarzio and get a quality set of PAF humbuckers. You just gotta remember, some of these pickups you can't actually buy from Gibson, or at least that's how it used to be. And they would regularly sell, you know, the custom shop ones in the $600 to $800 range. So these ones being $1,000, limited to 1,000 in production. They say it's the latest, greatest thing that they've ever created. They took scanning. I don't know. That just feels like typical marketing jargon that they use for every latest, greatest release. I think it would benefit them a lot to have a documentary of how they actually created these things, like show that process, get people emotionally invested in it. But for me, this is the coolest thing ever. I love this little doofy box they made. Looks just like a Lipton reissue case, but only one little latch. You still get the Gibson medallion. The inside is pink. They've got a nice little area for your COA for your pickups. But here's what really stinks about this, because I have the collector mindset. I know how people are gonna be. You can buy these pickups as a show display piece, but if you actually install them in the guitar, you are going to lose significant value because there's solder burn marks on your leads. Nobody's gonna want that used set. So that's why, unfortunately, I had to pass on this release, because I can't just make a video and show you guys the box. I would have to install them in a guitar and, give you some tones. And that's not a video I want to lose $400 to create. But then again, some people have these up on Reverb for like $4,000 now, which I don't see that. But currently they are listed as not in stock. Notify me when available. Does that mean all 1,000 sold out? Or just as many as they've currently made are done? Only time will tell. But from a business standpoint, I totally get it. Why not offer it? I'm sure they might even try to do more of these if they have success. But my biggest question on launch day was, if these are the big flop that the internet says they're going to be, worst case scenario, you just make a new line of guitars and you throw the pickups in there. You literally cannot lose from a business standpoint on these. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't throw them in the 20K Brazilians that they recently came out with. But alright, troglodytes, that is enough fun for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. No, I didn't forget about the Kirk Hammett. We'll review that one tomorrow. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.